Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. As part of your strategy session today, we'll be discussing two very important subjects which come in the mains exam, which is world history and post-independence. These are specific to mains, and that is why we're discussing the sources and how you are going to cover the themes and what is the generic pattern. The point which you need to understand first is that in history itself, you have ancient, medieval, art and culture, modern India, world history, and post-independence. Out of these two are specific to mains, these two are PT plus mains, and these two are only PT. This means that their demand is mostly subjective and factual technically goes out of the picture. More than that, there is a pattern in which these topics or these subjects are coming, going, and the pattern is of alternative or successive questions, and then 1 year there will be no question. But the point is, if you understand world history well, you will automatically understand in GS paper 1, because it is part of the GS paper 1 part, you will automatically be able to have a better understanding of international relations and modern India. And post-independence gives you a better understanding of social issues. So as two subjects, they have much more significance than themselves, because world history becomes a very important base for international relations, which is GS paper 2, and post-independence becomes very, very important for another aspect of GS paper 1, which is social issues. So first and foremost is, what is the importance of these two subjects is that they are multidisciplinary. They go beyond their own understanding. And as I said, because they are mains, you don't need to put too much effort, but just that you need to know what to learn, what not to learn. So don't leave these two topics again because of the fact that it is alternating or there's a specific pattern. But UPSC has a habit of catching the students in a surprise or through a surprise. And the surprise did come in 2021, where both post-independence and world history made a comeback. The point is, now that we understand the basic importance, that it is important, because international relations and social issues cannot be understood without world history and post-independence. Let's look at the syllabus. What does the syllabus say? For post-independence, it says post-independence consolidation, reorganization within the country. So there are two words which it has used: consolidation and reorganization. Consolidation means is what are the problems we were facing as soon as we got independence. And reorganization would mean linguistic reorganization, official language controversy, the concept of the basic land reforms, reorganization and consolidation. Two things are going together here. The point is, post-independence consolidation issues related to partition, related to princely states, and the other is reorganization based on linguistics, diversity, or what we call as regionalism. The point again is that post-independence is important because linguistics and the regional issues are very, very fundamental to polity and social issues. And partition and princely states are again extremely important for understanding of modern India. Then world history syllabus talks about history of the world, which includes events from 18th century. So we get the starting point where we have to start, such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, redrawal of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies such as communism, capitalism, socialism, their forms and effect on society. So now again, it is extremely important to realize that here UPSC has been very, very specific. They've told us 18th century. They've told us what they want. Industrial Revolution specifically mentioned. World War specifically mentioned. Redrawing of national boundaries would mean what? Treaty of Versailles and thereafter. Colonization and decolonization of Africa, and philosophies such as socialism and capitalism, forms and effect on society. So when we talk about the syllabus of both, they are very, very specific. very specific to what they want, consolidation and reorganization, and very specific in what they want in the form of the events of the world. As I said, all these events from the Cold War to the Industrial Revolution form the basics to even modern day economics and international relations. So please do not ignore world history or post-independence because of that. So now let's look at the basic pattern of questions. When we talk about post-independence and world history, there's a pattern in the sense that between 2016 and 2021, there are either coming or not coming, rather back to back in 2 years or alternating, which is in 2 years, 2016 and 2017, back to back came. 3 years did not come, but then it surprised the student in 2021 where it gave one question, mostly 15 marks and 15 marks, total 30 marks they carry. The point is, this is very, very significant. They put the student at ease that they can leave post-independence, then they gave 15 marks. 15 marks is a lot of marks, knowing that that question was very, very easy. The fact was that if a student had put in some effort to do post-independence, 15 marks is make or break because that can give you a good rank and a bad rank. Same way, world history has been alternating. 1 year it came, 2 years did not come, then it came, then it did not come. And again in 2021, they fully surprised the student, which is that they asked a question on interwar period, which was not expected. The point is that because they're alternating or they're coming in pairs, students become complacent. Do not become complacent because UPSC has a habit of making a student complacent and then putting emphasis on that subject. So maybe in 2022, on your understanding, it would be that it will not come because it is alternating. But UPSC will then again, what they will do is that they will again give it in 2022 to again use your complacency. UPSC checks complacency. That complacency should not come through. So world history and post-independence, yes, alternating. Yes, sometimes the questions have not come through. But now UPSC has made it a habit that they are actually reducing the modern India questions and even art and culture questions and increasing world history and post-independence. These 30 marks can actually be a difference between the first rank and the 100th rank. So please don't take it lightly. You can't ignore it because this is not worth it. You can only read 2 to 3 sources, just needs maximum 5 to 6 hours of understanding, and you will actually be able to master these subjects. So first was to understand the syllabus. Now I have given you a basic pattern. Let's look at the type of questions which are coming through, and that will give you an understanding of why am I saying it's worth it. From post-independence, we have 2 types of questions, and these are mostly the questions which come through. Has the formation of linguistic states strengthened the cause of Indian unity? Meaning linguistic reorganization, standard question. Then, assess the main administrative issues and socio-cultural problems in integration process of Indian princely states. This is the 2021 question. Now, this question is something which is generic. Language still remains a problem in India. So, in the introduction, body conclusion, which is the standard concept, in which introduction should be in para form, body should mostly be in point-wise form, and conclusion should again be in para form. Language, you need to just talk about how at the moment of independence, linguistics was important, but linguistics got ignored or were specifically ignored because of the crisis related to the partition and the war itself. Then talk about how it has, in a way, become a problem as soon as the partition issue was resolved. And then talk about formation of linguistic states and the process through which we went through, which is the JVP, Dhar Commission, Fazl Ali Commission. And in the end, you need to talk about that this formation, this linguistic reorganization did strengthen the cause for India because it was able to create demarcated boundaries for states which were at least homogeneous when it comes to language. So you need to talk about, as it's saying, has the formation. You have to tell your opinion. Yes, it has. Then in this question, just need to talk about Kashmir, Junagadh and Hyderabad. The administrative issues and socio-cultural problems, these 3 actually created in the integration. Again, introduction, body, conclusion does not need any specific effort. It's just about understanding that the basics of what happened in Kashmir, what happened in Hyderabad, what happened in Junagadh, and because princely states are in the news from time to time, there are litigations which are there in the Supreme Court. This question is actually coming out of current affairs. But you will see there are only 4 basic concepts out of which the questions can be made and nothing more. Then, let's look at world history. There arose a serious challenge to the democratic state system between the 2 wars or the 2 world wars. Evaluate the statement. This is a 2021 question. Explain how the foundations of the modern world were laid by the French and American Revolution. Now, this is again a very easy question. How? This question talks about the inter-war period, and it's talking about the period between First World War and Second World War, and it says serious challenge to state system. This is technically talking about fascism, which is the rise of Hitler and Mussolini, and you have to talk about the Great Depression. They may sound difficult right now, but you will cover them through the books, which is the NCERTs only. You will easily be able to answer this question, because you will say how Hitler and Mussolini used democracy to break it, and how the Great Depression created the context in which fascism was able to rise. And this question is a very beautifully made question, because it checks if you understand democracy was in a crisis, and evaluate means that it wants your opinion. Second is a very standard question. All revolutions, American Revolution, the first democratic revolution, the French Revolution, the first politically nationalistic revolution, it always asks causes or significance. In this case, we got the question on significance. And you have to talk about how American Revolution talked about freedom, liberty, how the French Revolution talked about fraternity, the concept of democracy, about representation, how American Revolution talked about taxation without representation. So it's about the significance. There is no need to learn the facts. It's just conceptual. So now the million-dollar question which everybody asks, how do we cover these 2 topics? When we talk about post-independence, the themes which are extremely important are integration of princely states, very standard. Then linguistic reorganization, official language controversy, land reforms and regionalism and regional inequality. Princely states has come, linguistic reorganization has previously come, but these are the 2 most important. Then official language controversy is the English and Hindi concept. Land reforms related to economics, again very, very important. And regionalism and regional inequality is something which is linked to social issues. And we need to talk about how the planning commission, how everything related to that was geared towards regional inequality. This is again very significant. Why? Because it is based on basics. And for this, the source, I will tell you here itself, is an NCERT, which is Democratic Politics in India. And also there is a specific yellow colored NCERT, new NCERT, which is Contemporary Indian Politics. These 2 directly cover everything. Don't have to go anywhere else. The NCERTs, new NCERTs, are more or less enough for covering this. Don't have to go anywhere else. So these 2 NCERTs, class 11th and class 9th, very easily available on NCERT website. You can, democratic politics in India and contemporary politics in India, both are very, very important, and you can easily cover them through the NCERTs itself. When we talk about important themes of world history, American and French Revolution, very, very standard events. You can cover it through the NCERT again. I'll tell you the Industrial Revolution, very basic. How did it impact us? How did it impact the world? What was its relationship with modern India? Why Britain? Why Europe? World War I, World War II, Cold War, generally important for your international relations. Interwar period, they asked a question. And colonization, decolonization of Africa is again something which has been a staple for them, but they're moving away from that. But Southeast Asia also becomes important in that regard. So, what are the sources? Sources for world history, post-independence, already I told you, is the NCERT, Democratic Politics in India, which is part 1, and the second one is Contemporary Politics in India or Contemporary Indian Politics. Both NCERTs, very, very easily available, very important. Here, you need the new and old together, in the sense that the new 11th class NCERT will deal with a lot of issues related to French Revolution, the American Revolution, unification of Germany, Italy, and the old NCERT 10th class Arjun Dev will cover after the First World War. So these two, if you use them, you will easily be able to cover each and every theme which is there in world history, and everything is very comprehensively, very easy language it is given. Right? So now the question is, how do you cover everything when you know that you only have to read the NCERTs? First and foremost thing is that for post-independence, we know that we are modulating between princely states and we are modulating with the other one, which is the linguistic politics. So what we do is that we will create master answers for this. We will refer to books. We will even refer to current affairs. And by referring to current affairs for linguistic politics and princely states, we will refer to the NCERT, basic facts which are available to us. We will make two very good answers and keep it with us. We will learn it. This answer does not need to be 250 words, 150 words. It could be 1000 words, 1200 words also. But it has to be a master answer, in the sense that all aspects related to princely states and linguistic politics is there. If there is a specific question in the examination, 250 words, 150 words, you can write as much as you want to. The point is that master answer is a must. Is a must because it creates the context in which you can easily cover everything and easily get the answer in your mind. When you have to write it in 7 to 8 minutes, you don't have to collate. You don't have to bring everything together. You just know basic aspects. You trim down the master answer, and that master answer has been created after reading the NCERTs. There is no basic book you need to refer. There would be a very thick book which is India After Independence by Bipin Chandra, but it is actually very in detail, is not needed for UPSC preparation itself. So there are two books of Bipin Chandra, India Struggle for Independence and India Since Independence. That book, India Since Independence for Bipin Chandra, is technically not needed. Don't go to it. It is very bulky. Don't have to cover. Next, once you've created this master answer, you will, as I said, practice. You will write at least one answer in a week and at least 3 answers in a month. Because it is only one question, you don't have to put in too much effort, but have to keep on learning your answer itself. What I suggest is learn the answer once a week, do practice so that you learn and revise as you go on. Second would be what you do with world history. World history is a little bit longer, 2 NCERTs. Here again, I have told you what are the important themes. You have to create these 6 important or 7 important answers. Keep all the facts in them, the concepts in them, and world history is better understood on a timeline. What are the timeline? When does the American Revolution happen? When does the French Revolution happen? When does the World War happen? First, second, Cold War politics. This again, the basics is that you have to make these master answers, collating everything from the NCERTs. Basic facts need to be there. And once you're able to do that, same way, you have to practice 2 to 3 times in a week, or at least 4 questions in a month. This way, what you will be able to do is, firstly, you are answer writing. Because you are doing answer writing, you are at the same time creating a practice sheet. You know how to write within 7 to 8 minutes. More than that, you are also revising. And because it is one question and the themes are already in front of you, you don't have to do it every day. In a week, if you are able to give 1 hour to world history and 1 hour to post-independence, that is more than enough. So the basic concept is, because it is subjective, it does not need reinforcement every day, but at least weekly you should be refreshing your memory related to post-independence and world history. Once you're able to do that, you will easily be able to answer any question. Here, do not go beyond the new NCERTs. The new NCERTs are more or less important and they will easily be able to give you the answer. And as I said, for post-independence, two new NCERTs, Democratic Politics in India and Contemporary Indian Politics, very easy. And that same way, Arjun Dev Old NCERT and 11th class NCERT for the basics of world history, more than enough. So, before I end the session, three things need to be clear. First, there are interdisciplinary subjects. World history helps you in modern India and international relations. Post-independence helps you in social issues. Post-independence also has an aspect related to current affairs. It becomes important. Based on the pattern, do not fall into the trap of the UPSC. There can be a question in 2022 also. They can recur, but UPSC is making a point to cover each and every aspect of GS Paper 1 syllabus. Third, don't have to go beyond the NCERTs. Very basic understanding of all the events is more or less enough. Princely states and linguistic reorganization for post-independence. And second, when we talk about the basics of World War I, World War II, American Revolution and French Revolution, the significance and causes. Courses don't matter. How did the First World War happen does not matter. The cause matters, the significance matters. How did the French Revolution happen does not matter. Cause, significance, and you'll be able to nail those questions in the exam. So with this, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much. I will see you in another video. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.